Hey everybody, it's Matt from You and Your Horror Movies, and welcome to day 11 of my 31 days of horror. Yes, review a day for 31 days. Alright, for the film I picked, it's from 1964. Yes, and this is actually in color. The back looks like it's in black and white, but it's not. And this is an Amicus film. Of course, it has Peter Cushing in it, which is awesome. It also has Christopher Lee, Donald Sutherland, and a bunch of other named guests. And this was put out by Olive Films. And that, of course, is Dr. Terror's House of Horror. Yes, this is actually a really fun anthology film from the 1960s. So if you think about picking this one up, highly recommend it, especially if you like anthologies. So in Dr. Terror's House of Horror, you have a bunch of guys on a train. They're all boarding the plane. And this one shadowy guy comes up and he sits with all of them. Of course, he has a bunch of tarot decks. He's playing around with them. So a bunch of the guys were all talking, going, "What are these?" And he goes, "These are tarot cards. They predict the future and everything." So some of the guys are like, "Yeah, whatever." Some are like, I like to have my fortune told and whatnot. So they go through each individual man in the train, and of course each story is all about horror and death, pretty much. And of course, each story is actually different, which is awesome. You have different stories. One is based on, let's see if I can remember them right off the top of my head. One's a voodoo story about a gentleman stealing. This is not in the order of the movie, though, by the way. You have a gentleman with stealing music from a voodoo tribe, and doesn't end well. There's one about a killer plant, which is pretty cool. There's a killer hand segment. There is kind of like a vampire segment as well. And the last one, oh shit. Trying to remember. Fuck. It's always trying to remember which movies go with which one. Oh yeah, the werewolf one. Yes, duh. Yeah, so you got a werewolf one as well. So pretty much you have these all stories talked through. I think it was Christopher Lee. No, Peter Cushing is the Dr. Terror. Christopher Lee is the one that doesn't care. He's like whatever. He's like the science. He's the snobby art dealer. He's like, nah, that's not real until he gets his story told. But anyway, each story is taught through these tarot cards. And they play the story out. And it's pretty much predicting the future. And of course, each story picks up the last card, and it's always the death card. And they're like, wait a minute, are we all going to die? Is this what we're going to change with ourselves? What is going on? So the wraparound is all happening around one time as well with each individual story. I'm not going to get around the wraparound because the wraparound is really good. So let's just say it involves everybody on this train. So anyway, as each story is told, they're actually really well done. The killer plant one is really neat. They're like vines and wrapping, engulfing the facility, strangling people. The killer hand one's pretty cool. That involves Christopher Lee. I thought that was really a good story. Donald Sutherland is so young in this. It's surprisingly shocking to see him as his character. But again, it was cool. I definitely recommend Dr. Terror's House of Horror. For special features, I don't think it has any features to it. Usually Olive puts out the bare bones, but their picture quality is really well done. Now, if you see, here's the back. It looks like it's all in black and white. It's not. It's actually in color. It runs about 98 minutes. Again, from 1964. Another well-done anthologies from the Amicus line. So if you want to try to pick up Amicus films, here's another one that's a must-own for your collection, guys. Great stories, great wraparound. I give this probably a whole thing a 8.5 to 9 out of 10 for this movie. We were actually looking up the tarot cards to see if there were actually real tarot cards used in it. So we're still looking that up. But it was kind of interesting what they used. And again, guys, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my little review of my 31 days of horror. Yes, this is day 11 of 31. And again, highly recommend checking out Dr. Terror's House of Horror. Not really in a house, but in a train. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. And also, please put those comments down below. Love reading them and responding. Peace.